Hi everyone, Tom here. I'm not gonna lie, doing toy reviews is actually quite fun, and I want to make it a continued series on my channel. Today, I want to talk about these Oddbods toys. Oddbods as a show is something I'm not particularly interested in. I just don't get it. But it's a happy show with easy to remember characters, and it keeps kids smiling, so I'm happy to talk about these toys. This video is about a particular set of plushies that my sister owns. They're your standard and basic plush toys, nothing too special, but one in particular really caught my eye. The story behind two of them is actually an interesting tale too. And with that, let's begin.
Let's start with Z. Z is your typical weird, gross, chill kind of guy, as you can clearly tell. He kind of reminds me of Patrick from SpongeBob because of his bizarre habits. While all of these toys are very similar, each one has a unique trait about them. For example, Z has these diamond-shaped freckles each side of his face. His costume is a green colour, and he has these weird little candy cane thingies on each side of his head. His eyebrows are stitched on, and his face is printed. On the back, he has two green buttons, and just by his backside, you can see this little label. Now take note of this, as this will be very important later on in the video. His feet have a harder material inside of them, possibly cardboard, which makes them stand upright, and have printed little feet on the bottom. All for you, Z. Take a nap. Next, let's talk about Pogo. I think this one's a little deflated. Seriously, I don't think they put enough stuffing into this toy. See what I mean? As for his facial features, he has a very, very cheeky grin, and each side of his face is what appears to be some kind of war paint. He's supposed to be the very cheeky and kind of a prankster kind of character. Very naughty and often annoys the other characters. His status as a prankster is evidently shown by the slingshot-shaped head he has. Like Z, his face is printed on transfer, but his eyebrows are stitched on. On the back, he has two blue buttons and the same tag. Next, let's talk about Fuse. I think you need to guess why he's called Fuse. Here's a hint. He's the angry one. To decorate his face, he has a plaster, and on his arm, he actually has a tattoo. Wow. His head is covered with these 5 spikes. Other than that, he's mostly the same as the others. Buttons on the back, label, feet, you know, the regular. And now, let's talk about someone else. Yeet!
My name is Jeff.
This one is called Jeff. He's the snobby one. As you can tell, he doesn't really look impressed. I think what's interesting about Jeff is that he doesn't have any particularly important facial features to mention. No plasters, or cheeks, or freckles, or anything. He's very dull looking, and I think that's the point. Jeff is supposed to be the sophisticated and normal one. Aside from his nice colouring, there's not really much else to mention about him, besides the obvious features. Oh, and his little dealy bopper on the top of his head. Next we'll talk about Slick. Slick is supposed to be the cool one, and according to my sister, he gets hurt a lot. He has two fluffy dealy boppers on the top of his head, and little freckles on each cheek. He's got a kind of laid-back, cool expression, showing that he's, again, supposed to be the cool one. Besides these features, there's not really much else to mention about him, because he's quite similar to the others, in terms of appearance, label, and everything. So now we're going to talk about the two most interesting toys. There's nothing different about this toy. She looks the same as the others. You know, she's got her interesting eyeshadow, and she has her unique little spring on her head. There is something interesting about this toy, but I'll get into that now. These two are significantly more rare than the other 5 I've covered. When my sister went to the shop to get all of them, she found the others really easily. You know, these guys and these guys, they were really easy to find. There was plenty of them. But not a single Newt or Bubbles. They just didn't exist, they weren't in the shops. My sister looked everywhere for them, they just weren't there. And so my mother contacted the actual company that makes these toys and asked if she could buy Newt and Bubbles for my sister. They actually said they would check the warehouse, and when they emailed my mum again, they said that they only had one of each in the whole warehouse. So my mum bought them for regular price, and my sister got the complete set. So whilst there's nothing particularly interesting about Newt in terms of differences from the others, as she's pretty much the same, Bubbles, on the other hand, is a completely different story. This one is probably the most valuable and most rare. From the looks of things, she's pretty much the same as the others, you know. Same eyes, same mouth, you know, she looks normal. Then you take a closer look at the eyebrows. Do you notice anything different from them? These ones are printed transfers, whereas the others had sewn on eyebrows. It's very hard to tell with this awful camera I have, but trust me. Also, on the back, if you notice, her buttons are significantly larger than the buttons on the backs of the other characters. And finally, the most interesting detail about her is her label. See, I mentioned these labels were a lot different, or important, earlier on in the video. All of the other characters have these 3D model kind of looking labels. Now, this is the logo of the actual show. On this one, it looks more cartoony. And even the back is a little different. This one goes on about how to wash it and where it was made, whereas these ones tell you where it was distributed. It says Telford. This one doesn't. I just find that interesting. This one is very different, and I believe this one might actually be a prototype toy. If that's possible, then my sister's got quite a rare toy, as on eBay the only versions of these two my sister could find were both bootlegs. Besides that, another interesting fact about Bubbles is that, unlike the others, she didn't come with a name tag. All of the characters from the store, and even the Newt from the warehouse, came with one of these name tags with a little picture of the character from the show, in their own specific colour. As you can see, it seems that Bubbles doesn't have one. So you've got one for every one of them. The only one who doesn't seem to have one is Bubbles. So this might actually just back up my theory that Bubbles is in fact a prototype toy, and not the finalized version. Are there any finalized versions? Do you have any finalized versions? If you do, please tell me, and if not, tell me if you could find this one at all, because I sure as heck couldn't find another copy of this. Is it rare? Or is it just rare in my country? Please tell me. Okay, moving away from the crazy backstory of this toy, let's just look more at her aesthetic details. She has yellow eyeshadow on each eye, and a yellow mole on her cheek. The top of her head has a, I don't really know what to call it, kind of like a mohawk, chicken haircut, something. She's supposed to be the clever scientist character, but a lot of her inventions go wrong. And as mentioned, her buttons are bigger, her eyebrows are a little different, and she's just, I think she's the most interesting of all of these toys. And that was the Oddbods Plushies. While I'm not a fan of the show, I actually rather enjoy talking about these toys. They're cute, they're squishy, and they're colourful. I like colour. So, these toys get a pass from me. Did you find this video interesting? Did you like hearing about the Oddbods? If so, please tell me in the comment section and I may cover the show on another video, but I might not be so tame about it. As mentioned before, I don't get it. If you'd like to see more videos about weird and obscure toys, please say so, because I really enjoy doing these. I love toys, even though I'm 18. Please tell me if you like this video, and If you want more toy reviews, then please say so. I'd love to talk about more toys. This is Tom, signing out.